Welcome to Off the Wall. My name is Trey. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch, listen, no matter where you're watching or listening from. We appreciate you for being here. We got a really good show for you today. We've got some AF1 and IFL news we'll dive into a little bit later, but we've got an interview with Aakiel Greer, who's a wide receiver for the Arizona Bandits of Arena Football 1. Had a nice chat with him about his football journey so far and what he's looking forward to with the Arizona Bandits this upcoming season. But before we dive into that, please make sure you're following Off the Wall on all of our socials at Off the Wall FB, F as in foot, B as in ball, Off the Wall FB. We're on Instagram, we're on X/Twitter, we're on TikTok. We're also on Blue Sky and Threads as well, trying those out. So give us a follow on each of those, drop in the DMs, say hi. Let me know that you're following me on there and that you listen to this episode. Love connecting with folks and love chatting it up about all things arena and indoor football. And if you're watching this on YouTube, hello. Please make sure that you're liking this video and subscribing to the channel as well. We've had a really good run of getting new subscribers on here, which has been awesome. We had a Turf Tapes a little bit earlier this week where we watched an old Tampa Bay Storm and Philadelphia Soul game from 2005. So go watch that if you haven't already. But got some cool things going on in YouTube land and some potentially cool things lined up on the horizon that if they come to fruition the way I think they might, will be very exciting. But if you're not watching on YouTube and you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, please make sure that you're rating the show 5 stars on each of those and then liking the episode as well, sharing it with a friend, the whole peer pressure ordeal. Send it to someone that you think would love arena football. Would really appreciate the share and appreciate all the love and support so far. Let's not waste any more time. Here's the interview with Mr. Aakiel Greer. All right, joining us on the show this week, we have a rapidly rising star in the arena football world. He will be suiting up for the Arizona Bandits of Arena Football 1 for the 2025 season. His name is Aakiel Greer. Aakiel, thank you so much for joining the show. How are things out in Arizona as training camp is right around the corner?
Man, first of all, man, I just want to say I want to give honor and glory to God, man, for granting me the opportunity to even have the chance to play in Arizona. Without
Right.
him, I wouldn't even be here. So I have to give thanks, all my thanks, to the man above. And being in Arizona, it's definitely it's life changing, man. Like
Yeah.
I'm in a new city, a new state that I've never ever been to. So I'm basically just learning and getting my body ready for camp and everything. But
Yeah.
it's a very exciting time. Very exciting time.
Yeah, Arizona is definitely a unique place, especially coming from a place like Mississippi. Have you gone out into the, like done some trails or like done some hiking yet or not yet?
Not yet, but I
No.
definitely plan on it. The most all I've been doing lately is I've just been training.
Yeah.
Training and
Yeah.
getting my body ready and getting
Yeah, for
accustomed
sure.
to the air out here. A lot of people
Oh
don't
yeah.
know. A lot of people don't know, like, but if you're from the South and you come to and you move to like the West Coast, you have to get used to the air. Like your breathing
Right.
tends
Yeah.
to be different, and so I've been adjusting to that. But I mean, it's been coming along pretty good. I think
Very
we're gonna be
nice.
just fine.
Nice. Well, starting off, I want to learn a little bit about your football journey. So, kind of starting like your introduction to the sport and kind of going through college and how you ended up playing arena football.
Okay, so basically, my mom is the reason why I started playing football at the
Hmm.
very, very young age of 5, I want to say. But she put a ball in my hand when I was like 3 years old. So
Yeah.
sports was always going to be big for me, and I played at least 5 sports all the way up until like junior high, and then
Oh
when I got
wow.
into junior high, played I played football, I played basketball, I ran track, and those were the 3 sports that I stuck with. But growing up, I played football, basketball, I played baseball, I played soccer. Well, I did it all. It
Yeah,
wasn't
sounds
nothing.
like it.
It wasn't a sport under the sun that my mom didn't have me playing. And I excelled at them all. But as I got older, basically I just stuck with those three, with basketball,
Mhm.
track, and football. And pretty much out of the three, as I got into high school, I chose football because like the love of the game. It's just something about football. Like
Right.
it gives you a feeling that no other sport, in my opinion, can give you. Like
Right. Yeah.
I often tell people, I was like, I love basketball and I love baseball, and if you really just look at statistics and studies will show that more people get excited about football than they do basketball or baseball. And
Oh
I'm
yeah.
pretty sure
Yeah.
you already know that. Like
Yeah.
people talk about football year round.
Yeah.
And I feel like in other sports, people only talk about those sports when it comes down to like the end, like the playoffs.
Yep.
Right
Yep.
now, we're in the heat of the NBA season, but nobody will really get excited for basketball till like April,
Yeah. Yeah. That's
when
true.
the
Yeah.
playoffs start, like but now the Super Bowl just ended and people are already talking about are the Eagles going to repeat or will the Chiefs get back, and they're going to talk
Right.
about this
Yeah.
every single day. And then the NFL draft is coming, it's just football is just year round, and
Oh yeah.
football gave me a it just was a it felt like a first love in a sense, like,
Okay.
and I just couldn't shake it. So I chose that to play in college, and I ended up going to three colleges. I went to Delta State first, and
Hmm.
then I went to junior college, Kahoma Community College in Clarksdale, Mississippi. And then from there, I left the 2-year school and went and finished my college career at St. Augustine's University in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Okay.
And I enjoyed every single minute of it.
That's great. So what did that jump from playing college ball to eventually landing in the arena circuit? Like, what did that look like? What tell me talk to me about that
So,
process.
so basically, I did the whole NFL draft process. I
Uh-huh.
played in All-Star games, and then basically how I got into arena ball. After I got out of college, I ended up getting my first shot with, surprisingly, a lot of people don't know this, but Albany Empire
Oh,
with
okay.
in the NAL. This was 2022. Darius Prince and all those guys. I basically got to learn from a great that's played the game at the highest level.
Yeah.
That knows the game inside and out. So got to learn, got to learn from Darius Prince. Matter of fact, shout out Darius Prince for showing me the ropes. Definitely
Yeah.
appreciate you for that. And I started out with Albany, and then I ended up getting let go. I was there for a short time, but I
Hmm.
didn't really know the game that well. Coming out of college.
Right.
Um, but I learned from a great, like I said, from Darius Prince, and so after that, I ended up leaving there, and Um, I had tried to join a San Antonio team, like the
Hmm.
Gunslingers,
Yeah.
but I ended up leaving because I wanted to play outside, and ended up going to the Major League of Football, but it shut down in 2022.
Mm.
And then in 2023, I go to Vegas. First of all, I work out for the Raiders. Forgot to throw that in there.
Oh yeah, that's a big one. Yeah.
I worked out for the Las Vegas Raiders.
Yeah.
And then from there, I ended up meeting Mike Davis, who's the coach for the Vegas Nighthawks.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I ended up going to the Vegas Nighthawks. And so from there, I ended up leaving Vegas, going to Iowa to the Barnstormers. And that's where I really like first started to play. Like,
Yeah.
because I had bounced here, bounced there, this, that, and the third. And then I went to Iowa, and that was like my first time actually getting on the field. And a lot of
Okay.
people don't know that. And that's why I always say like 2023 was my rookie year because I never stepped on the field in a game. I never appeared in a game. And so when I went to Iowa, I appeared in the last 5 games and we won 3 of them. And one of the most memorable ones that I played in that a lot of people may remember, some may not. We put up 80 points against Quad City, and it was one of the highest scoring games
Yeah.
in the IFL that year. And it was
Yeah.
amazing to come to Iowa and experience playing the indoor game and
Right.
seeing how different it is from playing actual football. And so that was 2023, the Iowa Born Stormers. So
Yeah.
fast forward to last year, I was originally no, Where did I go? Okay, 2024. Yeah, I ended up going to San Diego Strike Force.
Okay. Wow.
So
Man, you're jet setting all across the country.
yeah, I've been all over, man. My journey is so
Yeah.
unique, man, and it's so crazy. I went to San Diego and basically completed camp and everything, and sadly, I ended up getting let go.
Oh,
Don't
okay.
really know why or anything like that, but
Right.
after I left San Diego, I went home. I went back to Mississippi. Like it was probably this close to being over with because I never really just
Right.
had a coach just give me a shot. Like I knew if a coach gave me a chance to actually really showcase what I could do, what was going to happen.
Right. Yeah.
And and I know how the arena game goes, and this is not
Yeah.
to disrespect any coach that I've ever had. I love each and every one of you. You guys, each one of you guys that have ever brought me into your organization, you saw something in me enough to be like, okay, I want to bring him in. So this is
Yeah.
not
It's
to
all it's
bash.
all part of the journey, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is what I'm about to say is not to bash or disrespect any coach,
Yeah.
but there are some coaches in the indoor game that when they make rosters and stuff like that, that no matter what a player can go into camp and do everything right, make all
Yeah.
the plays, but
Yeah.
if you and the coach just do not have that relationship, you can still be sent home. And I want people to genuinely understand that.
Yeah.
For the
Yeah.
ones who are entering the indoor game that are new to it, please do not get discouraged because there is a coach out there that will see your ability and will literally do everything in their power to showcase it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You just
Yeah.
have to find
Absolutely.
the right system. And I feel like I didn't have the guidance. And when I say that, when I bounced from team to team, I also didn't have the same agent as well, if that makes sense. Because
Okay. Yeah.
I had different agents, you know. Luckily I have one now. His name is Flint Coleman, and he he seeks my best interests. Like he doesn't put me in a position to where I can fail. He
Yeah.
only wants to put me in a position to where I can try to succeed and elevate past the indoor game. And that's
Right.
all
Yeah.
I ever wanted, you know what I'm saying? Like I just wanted to try and be in a position to, okay, at least I can compete at a high level and give my chance the opportunity to elevate past this level because I've seen
Yeah.
it too many times. I know it can be done because I've seen over 50 players in the past 3 years move up CFL,
Oh
UFL,
yeah. Yeah.
NFL. So I know it can be done. So I look at that and I'd be like, okay, if they can do it, why not me? You know?
Yeah. Why not?
And so in 2024, when I left San Diego, I went back home to Mississippi and it was like a wake up call. I'm like, I told myself the next time that I step on the field, everybody will know it. I don't know what team is going to be for,
Yeah.
who is going to be because that had to be like what the third or fourth time when that happened to me. I made a promise to myself. The next team that I get on, oh, it's on. And luckily, Coach Solomon, Coach Solo of the
Yeah.
Wichita Regulators ended up giving me a call, and everything just went from there. And when I got to Wichita, basically, they were just now finishing up camp and stuff like that. I got there at the tail end of their camp.
Hmm.
So I just got through into the fire really quickly, you know what I'm saying? And I didn't appear in my first game in Wichita, I think until like I played in the last 6 games. I didn't play in the first four because we only had 10.
Yeah.
And my first game was probably against one of the biggest opponents in the league, which is Nashville. You got Jeff Fisher, who owns
Yep.
the
Yep.
team, and
Yeah.
then they have all these big names. You know what I'm saying? And the
Yeah. That.
market, Nashville. So you're playing in a market where it was sold out, like and it's like
Yep.
this is your very first game, and I just remember being so excited, I'm like, I'm really about to play in my first game, and I know I'm finna play the entire game. Like this is
Yeah.
my
Right.
like I know I said Iowa was my first game, but to me, this was really my first game, and it was on a
Right.
national stage because Jeff Fisher's there, and
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Jeff Fisher, not only does he run Nashville, but he runs the league now.
Yeah.
You know, it's no more Lee Hutton. This is the commissioner of the league in the building.
Yeah. Yeah.
A former Tennessee Titans legend. Like,
Yeah. Absolutely.
and what's so crazy about that game, the week before, they had just sent a lineman to the Denver Broncos. Like the week before we played them.
Right.
And I was like, man, if you don't get up for this game, it's like, what are you playing for? You know, like
Yeah. What
this
what
is
will
the
you
game.
get up for?
Like,
Yeah.
what are you getting up for? You know, and
Yeah.
so I I was just so excited to play in that game. I remember saying my prayers that morning, talking to my mom, and and a crazy thing about that, Nashville, Tennessee, isn't far from Kosciuszko, Mississippi, where I'm from, and
Uh-huh.
so in my head, I was hoping that maybe my family could make it, and then situation ended up coming up to where they couldn't. And I remember that was an extra chip on my shoulder that I knew I'm like, I'm finna go out here and I'm finna go off. Because
Yeah, for sure.
not only I feel disrespected because for years I've never gotten this shot. And then my family won't be here to see it. So I'm finna go out here and after this game, people are gonna know who Aakiel Greer is. And that's exactly what I said before I walked out
Yeah.
there. And after the game, that's literally where it just blew up. And it just went that one game from Nashville carried over into the next game. And then that game carried over. Like Nashville carried
Right.
over to Salina. Salina carried over into Orlando. Orlando carried over into Salina again. And then Salina carried over into Washington, where people really found out who I was after that game.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, absolutely.
it just went from it was just a building block. And I'm just like I really couldn't fathom or put into words how it made me feel at the end of the season to see how much people had really that I how many people I had put on notice. I really didn't
Yeah, for
realize,
sure. Yeah.
I was just out there just playing and I didn't really understand what I was doing at the time. I'm just out there like, okay, I'm playing and I'm getting in the groove and people are gonna know who I am now.
Yeah, for sure.
And not only me, but Wichita, because I was wanting to help uplift that team.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
whatever I needed to do to help Wichita win, that was what I was willing to do. And every coach that we played after I had started playing would literally come up to me and was like, "You're a hell of a player." And I had earned every team's respect after every
Right.
game. And it's just really just a surreal feeling because people don't know that I've been putting in work for years.
Yeah.
Only the real ones know. My mom, my
Yeah.
dad, my family. They are like the only ones that know the amount of work that I put in over the years.
Yeah, and it's
So,
it's usually a numbers game, like you said, and
yeah,
numbers game and relationships. That's a
yeah,
lot of where those opportunities come from, and the
yeah.
fact that you're able to finally land one and get that opportunity to prove yourself. Like I mentioned, you're one of the names that is like a pretty much a rising star within the arena football world because you got that opportunity and you were able to showcase some of that. So it's been awesome to see you get that chance and see you really take advantage of it.
It's a blessing, man. I'm just so happy and to see
Yeah.
all the work that I put in come into fruition and how I got to Arizona.
Yeah.
Basically, I was supposed to go back to Wichita, but
Right.
type
Yeah.
of situation happened, and basically when that happened, I didn't know what I was going to do. I'm not even going to lie to you. I had no
Right.
idea what
Yeah.
to do. I'm like, I had put all my, I had got so close to the fans and sponsors and everybody in the Wichita area, and it was very, very tough to have to go back and reflect like, okay, what am I going to do now? Because I know I'm still going to play, but where?
Yeah.
Where am I going to play? And it's like, it's so tough. It felt like signing the day all over again. Like, way back in high school. Like, what am I? Like, I got to talk to all these coaches. I got to talk to all these GMs. And everybody's
Right.
saying the same thing. Like, man, we want you. We love what you did last year. You were on fire, this, that, and the third. And I'm like, wow, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
And and talking to Matt Mason, man, we just hit it off. Like, we generally we genuinely really hit it off. Like, and I mean,
Yeah.
like, we connected from like our very, very first conversation. And
Nice.
I really, really, I talked to him a couple times, and he was very understanding of the situation that I was in with Wichita,
Right.
and he gave me some time to think on it. He didn't rush me, he didn't force me or anything like that, and he didn't make any like broken promises. He basically was
Good.
just like, "Man, we want you here in Arizona. Like, this is a new franchise. It's going to be exciting football. We want the best players, and we feel like you're one of the best receivers in the league." And to hear him tell me that basically put it in perspective for me. Like, this is
Yeah.
the first time that I've ever been valued in
Right.
this
Yeah.
manner. And I didn't know how to take it because I'm so used to crawling myself from the bottom so much.
Right. Yeah.
When someone like when someone like a GM or a president, like when they like basically see your skill set, like what you see in
Hmm.
yourself, because I do feel like I'm one of the best. I honestly feel like I'm the best. I just feel
Yeah.
like I never had a chance to show it. And now I'm in a position to I get to go into camp with one team. I get to start the season with one team,
Yeah.
get timing down with a quarterback. Like, I have an amazing quarterback that's going to be
Yeah.
throwing me the ball, like Malik Henry. Like, it doesn't get any better than that. Like,
Yeah, that's a good point about getting a full training camp, getting a
yes,
full like getting all that stuff dialed in. Like you're not having to figure it out on the fly. So
yes.
yeah, it's gonna be fun to see if you can build or see not if see you build on what you were able to do last year. But wide receiver is such an interesting position, especially within indoor and arena, where
Mm.
there you have like so many different varieties, right? Where you have like your smaller, scrappier slot guys. You have the more big body guys like yourself, like a 6'4", go up and get it type receiver. Then you have some of the folks in between. Being a taller wide receiver, who are some players from growing up or now that you kind of model your game after, and you kind of look to take some things here or there from?
There's so many guys that I grew up watching.
Yeah.
Just to name a few that I mainly took the most from,
Uh-huh.
especially growing up to now, I would honestly say Randy Moss is a big one.
Of course.
Terrell Owens. Um, who else? Who else did I grow up just loving? Oh, Megatron, obviously. Um,
Oh yeah, got to
and
include him.
yeah, those are like three. Larry Fitzgerald, he's another one. Those are
Right.
like some of the guys like growing up in my younger years. But like since I've been in like college and like high school all the way to now, like
Hmm.
I've took things from like Julio Jones. I've took things from Mike Evans. I
Oh
took
yeah.
things from what else have I took things from? I took things from Odell, not gonna lie. Because I have. I took things from Odell, Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, so when you say like took things and things you've noted, like what are like from Mike Evans, for example, like what's something that Mike Evans does really well that you kind of like, oh, let me start doing that. Let me include that in my game. Like, are there specific things that stand out?
his body control. He's very technical with his
Okay.
body control, and that's something that when the ball goes in the air, I've critiqued like what he does in the
Yeah.
game, and because he is a taller guy, but he can run, and
Yeah. Yeah.
I can see my body type and his body type as one because he's like
Hmm.
6'5". He's 6'4", 6'5". I'm 6'4", 6'5" ish, and I can move, and he can move, and so
Yeah.
I take little nuggets. I watch him I watch his releases. I watch how he goes up and attacks the ball. I watch how he throws like smaller defenders off of him. And I just take little nuggets off of what I see from him and I intricate that in the arena game because for one, I'm not slow. I am tall, but most
Yeah.
most guys in arena football, especially the motion men, they are typically smaller guys.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I literally tried to change that. Well, I really tried to change that with Wichita because not a lot of people were used to seeing a 6'4" guy run, run by people, and
Yeah, yeah.
I honestly feel like by in me doing that, it changed like how people can guard, like how people can not only guard me or guard the other people too, because usually when the
Right.
motion guy goes in motion, everybody reacts. Like the DB, you have a DB over him, you have the two outside DBs on the wall. Everybody has to react to the motion guy. And I just feel like it's more of a threat when a big body or more of a big body guy is coming in motion. And so when I get into these little matchups, I tend to think back, okay, I seen Mike Evans do this. I seen
Yeah.
Julio do that. Or I
Yeah.
seen Odell or Stephon Diggs do these type of, releases. And so that muscle memory just kicks in what I've studied. And so that's basically when I say I take things from players, I just
Yeah.
take certain things, you know what I'm saying? Like certain things that I see them do, I plug it into my game and say, okay, I watched them do that. What can I do? How can I plug that into my game? And
Yeah, yeah, that makes
that's
sense.
and that's usually what I do. And that's really what I that's all I done last year. I would I would run certain routes certain ways and set my guys up certain ways and manipulate them.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned the high man motion because I noticed that I was watching some clips earlier today. It's a great point. You typically don't see the taller receivers being that high man motion. What like is that something you prefer doing? Like you like, all right, I'm the high man motion guy on this play, let's go, or do you prefer being on the line and being a little bit more of that traditional release?
I'm gonna be honest. I consider myself versatile. I feel like
Yeah.
there isn't anything on that field that I cannot do,
Uh-huh.
except play lineman, obviously. But
Yeah.
I feel like it's nothing that I can't do. I feel like I'm a player that you can plug in anywhere. Like, okay,
Right.
Aakiel, I don't want you over there. I want you to go over there. Okay, yes, sir. I'll go right over there. You
Absolutely.
know,
Yeah.
I feel like I'm that player, and I feel like you almost have to be that player, especially if you plan on trying to elevate past this level. You can't put yourself in a box
No. Yeah.
because the more things you can do, the more opportunities you create, and the more opportunities you create, that means the more that people can see you do certain things. Like, okay, I see
Hmm.
this. Now I'm seeing him do that. Okay, he's kind of versatile.
Yeah.
And I feel like people on the higher leagues, that's what they look at. And so
Yeah.
I've never been a guy that just want to okay, I'm gonna play the motion man. That's it. Like, no, that just. And to be honest, our game coincides with the Canadian game so much because Canada has a high motion.
Yeah.
And
Oh yeah.
so you almost want to put yourself in position to be able to do every position because if you can't, I don't think people in a higher league can really utilize you because they're like, okay, this is all he could do, but I got seven other guys that do the same thing Aakiel can.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
and it's something too where like to your point, you don't want to be one dimensional
yeah,
because it can be a numbers game where all right, if this guy is one dimensional, he's really good at that one dimension, but these other six guys are pretty good at two dimensions.
hmm they're gonna
That
always have
automatic
to one up. Yeah,
they're always going to go with the people that are a little bit more versatile, like you said. So
yeah,
it's good to hear that you kind of go into that with that mindset.
yeah, yeah, most definitely. Yeah.
So. You mentioned this a little bit earlier, Coach Solo, Coach Clinton Solomon. You were able to get coached up by him last year. One of the great wide receivers in all of indoor football history. Like he was just so productive and so prolific. What was it like being coached by him and being able to learn some of the tricks of the trade at wide receiver and really get a chance to develop your skill set with him?
Playing for Coach Solo was truly amazing, man. He knows the game inside and out, and one of the biggest pluses getting coached by Coach Solo is he played the game and he played at a high level.
Oh yeah.
So there is certain things you can learn from coaches, but then there is also certain coaching that you can't get from other coaches unless they played the game. And he was one of
Right.
the main coaches that not only would he tell you how to do something, he would get out there and show you. And so I'm very, very blessed and thankful to be able to be coached by a Hall of Famer. I got to throw that in there, you know.
Of
He's a
course. Yeah,
Hall
you
of
got to.
Famer.
Yeah. If you
Um,
weren't going to, I was.
it definitely was an amazing experience to be coached by a Hall of Famer, and he helped tone up my game so well. And to be honest, he helped me like regain a confidence that I kind of sort of had lost,
Yeah, that
honestly.
makes sense.
Because like I said, when I first got to Wichita, I didn't play starting off, and he would always tell me like, "Kill, just stay with me. I got you. Like your time is coming. It's just when your
Hmm.
time comes, you do something with it." And he would always tell me that, and deep down in my heart, I believed him, but I was also in my ways like, man, like why am I not playing yet? You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah, right.
sometimes the things we want ain't always good for us, you know. And I'm a big believer in faith and God's timing. And so I just felt like it
Right.
honestly was God's timing when I got a chance to step on the field against Nashville. And when he really got to see me perform in a game, he started figuring out ways, okay, I've seen Aakiel make all these crazy catches and do
Right.
all
Yeah.
these amazing things. He can catch the ball and he can take off for 50 some odd yards, take off the whole length of the field, you know. So
Yeah.
I'm not just a down the field guy. I can run every single route. If I get the ball in my hands 9 times out of 10, it's pretty much going to be a score. Or if it's not going
Yeah.
to be a score, one person won't bring me down. It's almost going to be a first down. I don't think there
Yeah.
was a time, and I'm honestly speaking, I don't think there was a time last year during the season when I started playing that I did not catch a ball that wasn't a positive game.
Yeah. Well,
Honestly, and I'm being so transparent, and I've
yeah,
I've
that makes
critiqued
sense. Yeah.
myself. I've critiqued myself a lot. Every ball that I caught was a positive game,
Right.
literally, and it was only because of Coach Solo, because he put me in position to make those plays because he trusted me, and I'm so happy for him. Like I'm so happy for him because he got voted Hall of Famer. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
To be able to say that I played for a great like him is truly, truly amazing. Truly amazing. So I enjoy
Yeah.
playing for Coach Solo.
Yeah,
Top to
absolutely.
bottom.
Yeah, absolutely. And like if you're gonna choose one one wide receiver to learn from, he's the guy.
Yeah.
Just because to your point, he's done it. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
it's not just a do as I say, not as I do. It's like no, do as I do as well
Yeah.
because you can literally see it worked for me.
Yeah. Most definitely. Yeah.
So you talked about the what it looked like going over to Arizona, having the conversations with Matt Mason. I bet it was nice being able to talk to somebody who played the game in the past and specifically the arena game. Have you had like a chance to connect with some of the teammates yet that'll be joining you in Arizona and be able to build some of that rapport? I saw you were at the tryout, helping run things there, but
Mhm.
I know training camp is a couple weeks away. What's that been looking like from your perspective?
Yes, I've definitely gotten to meet some of my teammates here, and honestly, man, it's going to be a very, very fun season, man. Everybody that's a part of this Arizona Bandits team is truly, truly hungry, and it's just making me get deeper off in my bag because as as you already know, and as I discussed earlier, I've been hungry for years,
Yeah.
This is the first time that I've been in a great situation, like just
Hmm.
from top to bottom. And I get to, like I said, I get to get a full training camp, and I don't have to come in learning on the fly. I get to go into battle from day one with everybody. And these guys, I met some amazing guys here, and the coaching staff, amazing. Like, man, I'm so excited. Like Coach DeGrenier, man, he he don't play, man. He wants to win. He
Let's go.
truly wants to win, man. And I can just when he talks to you about football, you can see the fire in his eyes, and you
Right.
just know that he wants to win a championship. And if you're not about winning a championship, you won't be in Arizona long. And I've never won a championship ever in my whole life. And that, like, I've literally transitioned myself from, okay, I'm trying to crawl to just stay on the roster, to now I'm ready to compete for a championship.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because for so long, I've been just trying to, okay, let me just do enough just so I can get on the team. Now it's went from just getting on the team to there are guys looking at you as one of the top receivers in this league.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
so not only not so with all that attention on you, that's a big target on your back. So I have to work twice as hard now than I did the years before, because now
Yeah.
I'm no longer the guy chasing the guy. I'm being chased because
Yeah.
people know who you are now. And there's no more hiding. There's no, well, who is Aakiel Greer?
There's no
People
more
know now.
surprising people. Yeah.
Yeah, there's no most surprising people anymore.
Yeah.
It's like you're here, and it's how long do you want to be here? Do you want to be a
Yeah.
person that just got there and fell off, or do you want to be a person that is here and elevated his game to the point to where Arizona can compete for a championship? And so I love everybody that is involved with the Arizona organization, man. Like I said, top to bottom, first class organization, man. I'm so excited. I am so excited to be here. Like, I'm really, really excited. And I just cannot wait to see. I can't wait to compete in camp. Like, man, we have some amazing guys. We have
Yeah, you look at the roster that's been put together by, coach and Matt Mason. It's like, man, there's some guys on this roster. Like there's some guys that with plenty of indoor and arena experience, but there's also some young guys coming in that if they can figure out the arena game, this entire team can be very deadly.
we have some weapons, man. Like, people don't
Yeah.
even I can't even put it into words. Like, man, our D line,
That's going to be a problem for other teams for sure.
people don't like. I just sat there and watched the Eagles destroy the Kansas City Chiefs, and it was all
Yep.
because of their D line.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
watching the Super Bowl, I could just literally picture myself. I'm like, man, we have a D line. Like, man, you have Uric Jones, Henry Kellogg, Quindarius Coles, Michael
Oh
Bennett.
yeah.
The list goes on and on. Jeremiah Spicer. You have so many guys. Tremaine Smith. It's like the list goes on and on. Like, I could
Yeah.
just, off the top of my head, just continue to just name people, and
Yeah.
it's insane, man. It's really, really, really insane just to think about. Like, arena is a offensive game, and so
Yeah.
most people, you may get a guy here and there, on defense, long, but you got to have your offense potent. You got to get your quarterback,
Yep.
you got to get you some receivers,
Yeah.
but that defense, man, Matt,
Is
coach,
gonna be good.
Matt Mason, they put together something.
You can tell he was a lineman back in the day just
Oh
from the way
yeah,
he built that line.
and I'm talking about our D line. Don't let me forget the O line.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
We got some. Hey, we got some guys, man. Like,
Yeah. It's gonna
uh,
be fun.
yeah, Malik is gonna be well protected. I can definitely say that. We have
Yeah.
we have some guys, man, and I get to play. I get to line up with some guys, man. Larry Beavers, Jameis Williams, Javon Macon, JoJo Obrice. Like,
Oh yeah.
man, we have some guys.
All over the roster, there's guys everywhere.
I'm just so excited because, man, like this really feels like the beginning of a championship run. Like I'm really so excited.
Yeah.
Sorry Albany, but we are coming for you. And
Let's
Billings,
go.
and Billings. I gotta put it out there because Billings.
Everybody.
Yeah, we're coming for everybody. But I have
Yeah.
to. You know how everybody do their rankings and stuff, and they're
You
like,
got to. Yeah. Yeah.
they're like, oh, Albany won. I mean, Billings won, Albany two, and I'm like, nobody's talking about Arizona, but they will.
Mm-hmm.
It's
That's fine.
crazy.
Keep it that way. Keep it
It's
that
crazy that nobody like. Do people not understand who we have? But it's like,
if they don't understand now, they'll
yeah,
understand
they
later.
will. They will later, man. I'm telling you, it's gonna be a fun season, man.
Yeah.
This is gonna be an amazing season, man. I'm so happy that Jeff Fisher has really come in and took over the league and
Right.
got it in the right direction. I'm super excited. They unveiled the new footballs. Like, man, it looked like NFL balls with an arena logo. Like, I mean, they
Yeah.
really,
They look legit. Yeah.
yeah, they're legit, man. I'm just so excited about everything. We get to play on Vice TV, Evergreen. Like, man, I'm just excited. You know,
Yeah, everything's looking good, and if
yeah,
everyone does their part, just like on the team, if every team does their part in the
yeah,
league, this should be a good thing that is continues to grow from here. So
yeah.
I'm super excited for it. I can tell you're super excited for it.
Yes,
This has been great. Really appreciate you talking
yes, sir.
shop and talking about your journey and not only where you've been, but where you're going with it. Where can people follow you on socials to continue following your journey here?
Yeah. So my Instagram is agent number three underscore, and then
Okay.
my Twitter handle is I underscore am underscore AG3.
All right,
Oh, that's a
perfect.
lot.
No, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
it might be a little bit of a mouthful to get out, but we'll include the links to the in the YouTube description and the Spotify and Apple Podcast description as well, so people can just click, follow you, and be able to keep up with your journey and get to see where you go from here. But do
Yeah.
you have any parting words for the people before we get out of here?
Uh, last but not least, just I'm gonna start it. I'm gonna end it just like how I started it, man. I just thank God for allowing me to be in this position, man. I would not be here without him. I've been through so much with this game of
Yeah,
football, and literally, God is literally the only reason why I'm still here and why I'm still standing. So I just got to give all thanks to him, man. I want to thank my mom. Like, without her, I wouldn't be here. Like, she's
yeah,
made so many sacrifices for me to play this sport. You know what I'm saying? So I love her to death, and very, very super thankful for her, my mom and my dad. Like, I love both of you. Um, to my city, Kosciuszko, Mississippi, man, I'm trying to continue to play at the highest level and show people from my city back home that you can too be somebody.
let's
Don't
go.
don't ever think that just because you're from a city with 7,000 people that you can't become somebody. Like you can become
Right.
whatever you can become whatever it is that your heart desires, you can be it. And that's basically it, man. Just I want to thank God. I want to thank my family, man. I want to put on for my city, my college, St. Augustine University. Like, I just want to
Yeah.
put on for all my people, man. But
Absolutely. Well, really appreciate the time. We'll have to do this again, maybe a little bit later on
yeah,
during the season or after the season. Maybe after the Bandits are getting fitted for a ring, perhaps.
yeah.
I don't know. We'll see what happens. But we really
Lord
appreciate
willing.
you hopping on here, man.
Yes, sir, man. Thank you. Thank you so much, man.
We're going to start off with some AF1 news, and the biggest news of the week by far is learning where wide receiver Darius Prince would end up. So it's been kind of known slash not fully known, but wink wink known that Darius Prince was not going to return to Albany. If you've been reading between the lines and seeing that Albany's been signing a ton of wide receivers, you kind of understood this was the direction that it was headed. And Darius Prince is joining the Corpus Christi Tritons down in Corpus Christi, Texas. So after months of not really fully knowing what the deal was or if he was even fully coming back. It was announced on AF1 on one in a little interview with Mr. Prince earlier this week that he was going down to Texas, and it's an instant boost for Corpus Christi, and it puts them on the map offensively. Um, they haven't been around a long time, and they played in a smaller league last season, so it's hard to gauge where they're at as an organization. But this is going to be a massive boost, and they've been signing some really good pieces on both sides of the ball, and really liking what we're hearing from the coaches in some interviews that they've been putting out on the AF1 channel and whatnot. But on the other side, Albany will be fine. I know a lot of Albany fans were losing their mind because, oh, he's gone. Darius Prince is gone. What is happening? Woe is me. A lot of that going on, but they have a very talented roster, especially at wide receiver. And I think this might be one of the best things that could have happened to that roster, especially when you look at the wide receivers that they've brought in. They've still got Isaiah Scott from last year, who was extremely talented and just couldn't see the field on a consistent basis last season after coming over from Oregon and West Texas. And then this opens the door wide open for wide receiver Dwayne Brown, who at the Brawl at the Mall absolutely torched the Firebirds to the tune of 5 touchdowns. So you got Dwayne Brown, you got Isaiah Scott, you got Duke Williams, you got a ton of wide receiver depth still in Albany, and they got a guy by the name of Sam Castronova slinging them the ball. So Albany is going to be fine. And like I said, the writing was on the wall for this for a while, but it was kind of interesting to see how it played out. Darius made a post on his Facebook page talking about loyalty and respect. It was never about the money, but usually when you say it was never about the money usually played a pretty big factor in it. So who knows what those conversations actually look like between Darius Prince and the Albany Firebirds. But he's down in Corpus Christi for the 2025 season. This is going to be great for the league, especially with Corpus Christi being being in one of the two games in week 0. We'll get to see the Darius Prince debut unopposed. On that week 0, so it's gonna be good for the league, good for Corpus Christi, and Albany is still gonna be Albany, and they'll be just fine. Then we're also less than 2 weeks away from most teams starting their training camp. So rosters are getting rounded out. Tryouts are wrapping up. Just about every single team has been posting about tryouts over the past month or so, and you've been seeing a lot of rosters fill out. And most teams have about 30, 35 guys signed right now. Going to have to get that down to 24 by the end of training camp. So I certainly don't envy the coaches and GMs that have to make those decisions, but we're getting to that time where it's a super exciting time for the league, and we'd expect things to ramp up quick, fast, and in a hurry from here on out. And then flipping over to the IFL, first thing I wanted to touch on was Massachusetts. They're bringing back some familiar faces, on one on offense and one on defense. Wide receiver Thomas Owens and DB Matt Elam are back with the Pirates in 2025. So T.O. will be coming back for his 6th season with the Pirates, which you don't really see that much in indoor and arena ball. You see guys popcorn around from team to team to team to team, but he's been with the Pirates for going on 6 years now, which is really cool to see. And then Matt Elam has had himself quite an off season as well. He retired after last season. He signed on with Fisher's Freight as a special teams coach. He leaves Fisher's Freight. He may or may not have signed with an IFA team, which is an outdoor league if you're not familiar. Then he unretires and then rejoins the Pirates this past year. So he went through the full circle of life during this offseason. So he's back with the Pirates. The Pirates defensive backfield is going to be awesome yet again, bringing back a bunch of the guys that made them so successful in the later half of 2024. And Massachusetts lost a couple key pieces here and there, but the core of what made them really good on defense is back. So they're going to be competitive again, and it just makes that Eastern Conference that much more compelling to watch. The next thing I wanted to touch on was Charles McCullum, quarterback, signing with the Tucson Sugar Skulls. So the Sugar Skulls brought in the veteran quarterback after struggling to really have a consistent starter last year. I think they ended up having 8 different starting quarterbacks over the span of a 16 game season, whether it be due to health, performance, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. They just could not get any consistency at the quarterback position. And he is one of the most prolific passers in IFL history. He spent 2024 with the Salina Liberty in the AFL. Previous to that, he spent some time with Duke City, Spokane, Carolina, and Wichita Falls, and played for some teams in the CIF for a couple years as well. So it'll be good to have a consistent quarterback in Tucson. Just like even if he can start like more than half the games, that would be a step in the right direction for Tucson and an improvement upon last year. But I gotta be honest, I am worried about the ceiling that he brings to the table. He truthfully wasn't great with Salina last year. They did get to the playoffs, but he wasn't he didn't look like the Charles McCullum that won MVP awards in 2016, 2017. And he struggled a little bit with Duke City the year before that as well. So with how physical the game is for quarterbacks in the IFL and specifically in Billy Back's offensive scheme where the quarterback is doing a lot of running, he is a little bit on the older side and not necessarily known for for his wheels, so to speak. It might be a little bit of a concern if you're a Tucson fan, but it could be interesting to see how the Billy Back offense evolves with an older quarterback at the helm. And then moving over to Quad City, they're bringing back some key pieces as well. Specifically, wide receiver Keyvan Rudd is back in Quad City, and he'll bring his veteran experience to an offense that's bringing in some new pieces and bringing in a new quarterback in Daquan Neal that we've talked about before. Rudd is just a walking highlight reel with some of the catches and hurdles that he's done over the years. He was a major reason why Quad City was able to make it to that championship game a few years back. And he's just consistently a standout performer at wide receiver for Quad City. And you give him a quarterback like Daquan Neal, and it could go up another level. So he should have another great year for the Steam Wheelers, and it's good to see some of these veteran guys returning to the teams that they've been with for a period of time. Because with the IFL vet rule that's in place to kind of prevent veterans from sticking around on a team for a long time, it is still nice to kind of see some of that peek through and see some of these guys stick around for a little while. Then the last thing I wanted to touch on was wide receiver Stevie Johnson, formerly of the Buffalo Bills. He signed on with San Diego as a front office community executive. I'm not sure exactly what his job title is, but he is apparently taken to social media and expressed interest in bringing a team in the IFL to Buffalo, New York. So Buffalo has a history with arena football. The Buffalo Destroyers in the late 90s and early 2000s were there for about 5 or 6 seasons. A couple other teams have come and gone since then. And apparently that's what the team will be named. There was a mock logo that was sent out that was a first draft, not a final draft. Um, I don't know. We'll see. It looked a little AI-ish, but it may not have been. But Johnson is putting together a group of investors, and he's already name dropped a few folks, and doing it in a little bit of an unorthodox crowdfunding effort for those in the Buffalo area that want to be involved. He's expressed that he wants it to be owned by the community and run by the community for the community of Buffalo. And I'm personally a little surprised at how this has been announced and rolled out. Typically, the IFL gets all their T's crossed, I's dotted before these things ever get public. But it seems like Stevie Johnson is just like, you know what? We're sending it out. I'm posting this. It seems very spur of the moment, very let's rally some community support first, then go through everything that is needed to make this official a little bit later. But he's just letting the world know of what's going on and the transparency, talking about you need $1.5 million in escrow, you need $250,000 as an entrance fee to the league. So he's kind of pulling back the curtain a little bit and letting the folks know about what is required to gain a team or to start a team and join the IFL. So it is interesting to see some of that. And they're aiming for 2026, but there is a lot of work to be done before they even get close to being ready. So we'll keep an eye on this and monitor the situation as it develops. But Fisher's Freight was announced years and years and years in advance. I believe in like 2022, the team was initially announced, and it took them a couple years to get everything in line for launch in 2025. So it's a very quick turnaround to go from idea, send tweet to taking the field in what will be a 13, 14 month span. That's a tall task. But we'll see how everything unfolds. But this could be very exciting for the East Coast IFL fans and IFL teams that have a little bit easier of travel options, specifically with Massachusetts. They've been on an island by themselves in the IFL for a very long time. So if you put Buffalo in that Northeast, that makes travel a little bit easier for both parties. I know flights from Florida up to Buffalo, there's quite a bit of them. So Jacksonville to Buffalo makes that a little bit easier. So having more East Coast presence is going to be good for the league and help fill out some of the East Coast because there are a ton of teams on the West Coast already, and so it's time to start filling in some of that East Coast for the IFL. But it's going to be interesting to see how this rolls out, and we'll just have to take it day by day, post by post, and see what information we learn and see how that timeline grows, matures, and develops. And that's the show. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch. If you're watching on YouTube, listen. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, really appreciate you for taking the time to check it out and listen to me talk about arena football and listen to me chat with Aakiel Greer. So big thanks to Aakiel as well for joining the show and talking shop about his football journey and what this upcoming season is going to look like for him in Arizona. So go down to the description below and make sure you follow him on socials and let him know you heard him on Off the Wall. And while you're in the description there, right above it is a little thumbs up button if you're on YouTube. Like the video and go ahead and subscribe to the channel as well. Really appreciate all the support so far, and check out some of the other videos on the channel. Got some shorts from some past interviews, as well as a couple Turf Tapes live streams that are available to watch as well. So check it out. Let me know your thoughts, and then comment on this video a future guest that you want to see. Is there someone in particular? Is there a favorite player that you want to hear me talk it up with, or you want to learn more about their story? Drop it in the comments here and let me know. And Spotify, Apple Podcasts, make sure you're rating the show and sharing an episode with a friend. And then do the same thing. If there's a specific person that you want to hear on the show, please let me know and reach out. Please make sure you're also following on socials at Off the Wall FB. F as in foot, B as in ball, Off the Wall FB. We're on Instagram, we're on X/Twitter, we're on TikTok, and then we're also on Blue Sky and Threads as well. So I know not a ton of people are on those compared to some of the other ones, but if you're on there, go give me a shout, go give me a follow, and let me know you heard it here. So there's only 24 hours in a day. The fact that you chose to spend like 45, 50 minutes of that here means a lot. So really appreciate you taking the time to watch and listen. And we're in arena and indoor football season now. We're in it. So we're only going to get closer to the beginning of the regular season fully kicking off here. So it's a super exciting time, and we'll see we'll see if this is the beginning of a good or bad roller coaster. Hoping for good roller coasters. We've had enough bad roller coasters in 2024. So take care. Have a great rest of your week. See you.